Does love at first sight actually exist, or is it just attraction? Does science back this up? How do we know we're in love as opposed to just having a crush because we find someone attractive? One of my favorite movies is 10 Things I Hate About You, and there's a really cute scene where the main character Kat meets this guy, Patrick, and they have a very intense eye contact over a fence and then they immediately are in love. Now, is this realistic? Well, it's a movie, so anything can happen, but according to science, there may actually be something to this. According to Helen Fisher, an anthropologist and expert on love at Rutgers University, love at first sight, what we usually call it, is really more of an instant attraction or infatuation. And she says that there's actually three different types of love at first sight. The first one she calls the classic, and this is what we usually think of when we hear love at first sight, like in the movies. There's also what she calls the slow burn, which is when you meet someone and you don't feel anything at first, but then you start to realize that you have feelings for them over time. And then the third one is called the immediate but not exclusive. So you meet someone and you know that you want to be with them, but you're still open to meeting other people. So how common is this love at first sight? Well, researchers surveyed over 400 college students and they found that 19% of the women and 33% of the men had experienced love at first sight at least once in their life. But the question there is this really love? Or as the cynics among us would say, is it just lust? Well, the research actually says that there is a physiological basis for attraction. So there are certain things in the brain that happen that are similar to what happens when we experience actual love. When we're attracted to someone, our brain releases dopamine. This is often called the feel-good hormone. It makes you feel happy and motivated. Our brains are hardwired to seek out things that release dopamine. It also activates areas of the brain that are involved in processing rewards, like the nucleus accumbens and the ventral tegmental area. And finally, it activates the prefrontal cortex, which is the part of the brain that helps us make decisions. So basically what's happening is our brains are kind of tricking us into thinking that this person that we are attracted to is actually good for us, even though we really don't know them. Okay, so maybe there is a biological basis for this attraction, but how do we know if we're actually in love or if we're just infatuated? According to research, there are some key differences. Love involves deep emotional feelings, whereas infatuation is more of a superficial attraction. Love also involves a deep commitment and a willingness to work through difficulties, whereas infatuation is more short-lived and intense. And finally, love is more stable over time, whereas infatuation is more likely to fade. But let's be real, sometimes we might not actually know if we're in love or if we're just infatuated, and that's okay. A lot of the times we won't know until some time has passed. Sometimes our feelings will change. We might go from infatuation to actually being in love with someone or realizing that we're not in love and moving on, and that's all okay. So the next time you meet someone and you feel that instant chemistry, you might just be experiencing love at first sight. But just remember that it might not last forever. However, if you do end up in a long-term, loving relationship with that person, you can always look back and reminisce about that time you met and think, wow, that was the moment that it all started. If you enjoyed this video, please like and share it with your friends. If you're new here, please take a minute to subscribe for more content. Thank you so much for watching. Take care and see you soon.